Hello everyone, this is CEW here, coming back on video, and today we are re-watching and reacting to the long-anticipated Simone the Digger vs. Kai Rayner. Apparently, funny thing is, I was recording halfway, trying a new thing because I'm out of the house and all, different state, so I'm doing this for the first time on my Apple. Funny thing is, I tried to record and all, accidentally press the wrong button. You can see my face here, hello, and basically stop recording and all. So I have to start a new recording live, but it's okay. Just share my thoughts and all, make it faster. So before that, if you want to learn more, G1 Prediction Ball did their own version last night of the match between this matchup. Highly recommend you do it. They go all out with this and going in CDs. And not only that, I just today, an hour ago, just released my own prediction ball of Neo versus Null. So that's an exciting one. Hopefully you can watch that. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Try to catch up. Just ignore the comments. But as we said, this is going to be exciting.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern. Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This is probably one of the most anticipated matchups of today, and without a doubt going to be probably the strongest fighters in death battle. Like, I seen the preview of Simone before I stopped recording, and like, spoilers, it gets crazy. But let's just get to it so that way we can start with Kyle and all.
Underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave. That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty.
Animation
and his little brother from another mother,
is so
Simone.
good.
He was there too,
Love
I guess.
doing
Simone was a digger, content
Alright. Sorry if the thing is blurry. Doing this on my Apple to record. I'll see if I can try to improve next time. Maybe use my phone. But for now, we'll just do this. And you can watch the real episode itself. Let's see. Age 21. Taller than me, 6'2". Is a digger, supreme counselor, pilot, and hermit currently. Spoiler of the ending. Pronounced Simon. And is a market in the universe inspired by Captain Herlock, and likes most stakes, Nina, Kamiya, drills, dislike paperwork, authority, and the anti-spy. Who doesn't like paperwork?
Drill endlessly through the dirt until the day he found the core drill. A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagan. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark. But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren. And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan. With Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable. Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagan might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable...
Height, almost 13 meters, runs on willpower, merges with larger machine, drills, missiles, sunglass boomerangs, and energy bursts.
Making any weapon they can imagine, including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course, drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Burangu! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
Foreshadowing One Piece and Disney Ish Pack, maybe? From the Kickstarter. A lot of references in this one. Yeah, as I said, killing off the side character is probably one of the biggest risks that they did in the show, especially everyone loving him. And like it was like killing Patrick Star with SpongeBob. But like I said, best character development, especially for Simone.
Was that supposed to happen? Nope, and it was all Simone's fault.
Yep.
He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
Yep.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you.
Yep.
Damn. Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time.
True.
It was Simone who found Logon, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory. Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass.
Yep.
But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked. Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Yep.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings...
Spoiler alert, if you thought Bill Cipher was insanely strong, Simone and Kaya are stronger. Like, just wait.
like humans have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah. Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity. The perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential. Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
And this is from like the final 2 or 3 episodes. That's how, like I said, gets multiverse. So you can blame the manga, guidebooks, and like other medias for that.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities.
Spiral power, evolutions, exponential adaptation, self-repair, force fields, energy absorption, reality warping. Those 3 are going to be very important to look at. Arcgurren City Size, Thunderbolt Kick, Space Time Shattering Punch, Burst Spinning, and Super Thing, Moon Size, Full Drill Size, Axis-Timonius Shooting. Like, it's gonna get broken.
Energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines, creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough.
Super Size, extremely big, contains super spiral size, probability missiles. They're gonna explain that. That's actually a big one. And Mech Size, taking Trouble Mech Size, the Explorer's Infinite Spiral Power, Drill Size. Yeah.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant. That's the smallest unit of time physically possible, meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
Yep.
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
That's funny. Dang, I didn't... Yeah, so this is a reference to past episodes with Metroid, Wonder Woman, Shadow. I don't know why Shadow's there. That's kind of crazy. Superman, of course. Sun Wukong. I do not know who the right is. Hold on. I think that's Superman or Batman. I'm pretty certain that's Batman. Because I couldn't figure out Mega Man, EXE, and now SpongeBob. That's still kind of funny.
SpongeBob, you've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is. But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap.
Yep.
The multiverse labyrinth.
Here comes the crazy feat.
An attack that imprisons Simone in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world. Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape. What makes this even more impressive is that
in the CD drama CD. This is the CD alternate version. An alternate logogram manipulated 2D space, but this is a translation error, most likely refers to manipulating a 12-foot dimension. Yeah, the CD, like, Seymour wheel pile is so big, he actually can interact with the real world, and, like, Looney Tunes type. And that's still crazy.
That this labyrinth was 11-dimensional.
Yep,
Meaning
there's the
Simon
crazy
absorbed
one.
a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope. What? Oh, we're just getting started.
Yeah,
Imagine
it's
a
crazy.
two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person. Okay. That's not too far up from what actually happened. Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon, who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Yep,
Wait,
there it is.
Every human being has spiral power. You're telling me we can all do this shit? This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. This is when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy.
Yep.
Like shooting missiles that alter probabilities so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like...
Man, when you thought Star Wars was broken and all with a force, here comes Gurren Lagann. Let's see, Gurren Lagann makes multiple references to brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with author's statements asserting these galaxies are in fact universes. Yes, that's true. The other references like the guidebooks and the manga confirm that the universe being storm attack are universes.
Frisbees! Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes! Simon's
Yep.
power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe. With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and...
Despite higher dimensional nature, interview confirmed these constructs. Gurren Lagann could manifest in the D-dimensional real world. The creator basically was a big fan of like dimensional tiering and all, or spiritual. So yeah, you can see it in the show.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence. Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia...
Simon stated in interviews directly shown to be the strongest spiral user. As such, he is capable of the same feats and abilities as his crew.
The best wife in the universe used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight. Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction. If I have spiral power, Wiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back? When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time into...
I think this is the movie version.
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all. Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit, proving commonest words
The V1 at the top is very cool. Became the Simon that believed in him. Like, a lot of love for this episode, just from the preview back of Simon's alone. Pulled the moon back in orbit, struck all of space-time at once, absorbed the multiverse. That's going to be a big factor in my thoughts of the episode. Withstood the infinity sprawl, shadow a trillion star light years, defeated Spiral, and the anti-Spiral.
Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens. With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others, always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free. All thanks to a humble digger.
Alright, This is the part that
The universe.
I foolishly part in my recording by accident. So, but thoughts of the Simon preview. I'm glad they went all out, and with the source material and all, most likely Kyle. I'm predicting Kyle will get the full wall and all, and like it's gonna be insane. Like Simon's was pretty great, so I'm curious of how Kyle's
Is a
will be.
dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call. The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods. And
My
the
brother
greatest
did
Green
love
Lantern
Green
among them
Lantern.
was everyone's
He in the
favorite,
Flash.
Hal Jordan. You know him. You love him. You might hate him.
Yeah, that's from the preview. A lot of people are still salty about that episode. My thoughts, I am mixed about it. I think the fight definitely could have been better, but considering how that battle was at the time, maybe they can pull it off better. But I think the outcome, of course, was completely obvious in how Warren. His ring power was just more versatile and just better than what Ben could have. But they just did it poorly
But you
and
gotta
explained.
respect the man with a will as unbreakable as hell.
Let's see if they do
until
better
the
with
day
Kyle, but it
his
looks like
will
it's gonna.
broke. After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern, becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax. There was only
Yep.
one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner. So, was Kyle picked for his...
Alright, yep. Oh, same size as, height as me. 5'11", age 30, weight 175, application, comic book artist, Green Lantern, aka Ion Parallax Torchbearer, like Superman, Asian movies, Gamera. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Dislike DC editorial, Jaws, love triangles, enemy of heat. That's interesting.
Indomitable willpower like Hal was? He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own.
True.
Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space
True.
Wheat, and a sentient fox can
True.
master it, what's your excuse, Kyle? The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp. It lets you fire energy
That's the best
blasts,
summary.
create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence. Think we're exaggerating? Well...
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't... Yeah, they showed this on the G1 blog, but some of these are actually interesting. Resistance, poison, antimatter, reality warp, infamy, constructs. Yeah, I'm not going to read all of that, but that's still crazy. Reality warping, time travel, yeah, some of these are actually kind of good.
Consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year. Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity. Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger. Like the time that boozer Kilowog survived.
The Green Lantern chip stated his ring protected him from the effects of DC Crisis Infinite Earths. For those who don't know, it's basically was an infamous event that basically resetted the DC comics into one and killed off major characters like Barry Allen. So that's why we didn't see him till like the late 2010s, because he was dead. Let's see, survived the crisis by using the sucker stick, an analog to the Green Lantern League.
Being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth. The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination. Well, Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps. Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit. But the Green
Yep.
Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs. Kyle's speciality. Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar. Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity. Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang.
Yep.
0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The ring's only downside is that it's limited to...
Alright, after the constant power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have an emergency... Oh, my bad. Seemed like they're doing parts. Just ignore the noise. Even maintain full charge.
24 hours before needing a recharge. So it can blow up universes,
Yep.
but it has the battery of an iPhone.
True.
Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility. Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though.
Dang.
When one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge. Kyle wasn't the...
So, if you guys heard the fridging term, this was the comic that started it. Basically killing off characters and fridged them. Still a good moment though.
The only one
Just good
traumatized.
comics.
This moment was so
Yep.
infamous, it started the trope called fridging. For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
True, that's true, but again, it became a trope, but that's how, when done right, that's how good it was. After all, Spider-Man and, like I said, Kyle popularized it and are in the Hall of Fame of the most iconic moments in comics.
So
it
might
works.
surprise you that it happened to Kyle again. Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League,
Yep.
faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever. But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun. In order
Yep.
to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum. There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle...
So yeah, we're basically getting life equation. Okay, so he is probably getting the source wall and all, like his trump cards. But yeah, Atlanta ring, plasma breath, rage, infection, blood absorption. Okay, Blue Lantern, healing, possession, location, emotional purification, Spear Lantern, mind control, Crystal Manix, Indigo Lantern, patrols, compression, manipulation, just ignore that, Orange Lantern, energy siphoning, soul manipulation, yellow, fear manipulation, fear empowerment, White Lantern link. His main one, co-relevance, basically seeing the future, restoration, control over life, and astral communication. Mathematical source of life, constant reality warping. So he's getting the big ones.
Manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes. Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls. Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks,
Dang.
but it's metal as hell. Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring. Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others. The final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death. Oh, self-love!
Johnny Bravo. Okay, just letting the sound guy. But question is if he's going to get the source wall, because that's his basic trump card. It's like the wall that holds DC as a whole.
Powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow. The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life. Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death
Team
battle
Fortress,
than
nice.
something that makes you live. Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more
Multiverse,
powerful
okay.
than any other lantern in existence. Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the
Even a single central power battery contains through power to create and destroy an entire universe, meaning he had manipulated a multiverse amount of energy. So yeah, the DC universe is that big.
Power battery across
As
the
they're gonna
multiverse.
explode.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation.
Yep, it's no wonder why Dr. Manhattan took his powers away, because he probably would have been the one to stop him. Let's see, Kyle has held his own against Parallax as a Green Lantern, and Parallax has fought Space Time Travel, Spectre, and N-Type Monitor while possessing Hal. This substance the White Lantern as being equal or superior to Anti-Monitor. Remember, Anti-Monitor alone was the main reason Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. He's the reason why it happened.
Okay, so it's not totally useless. Especially after Kyle visited the source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality. The life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living. With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid. The life equation, like its counterpart,
Feats contain a supernova, survived the Big Bang that created the DC universe, outsped the laws of physics, surpassed Hal Jordan's powers, resisted the anti-life equation's domination, mastered the emotion spectrum. Oh, so he's not getting the source wall. So, yeah. Defeated Wonder Paramount, Amazo, a brilliant.
Anti-life equation is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are. So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful. He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself. Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back. But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all. Not bad for a comic book geek from LA. And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it. So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way. But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey. Only endless beginnings.
So no source wall. So basically it's the same thing as the multiverse labyrinth. Like I said, if you want more about the source wall, I'll go to the G1 blog. Sorry, of this. It goes more detailed, but long story short, like the fact that Kyle hasn't got it is a big factor. But would it matter?
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime.
Yep.
We've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathmetal.gg.
This was big news this week, too.
It's like our own private Patreon, with a store for death metal merch and a complete death metal video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way.
That's actually a reference because Ghost Rider Spawn got demonetized, basically yellowed, which they couldn't get because of like that Spawn cursing, and that was enough to block the video. So it's great to see it back. I'll probably definitely subscribe as a member when I get the chance to. Very excited about that.
Check out deathmetal.gg live right now.
Alright, thoughts about the episode? Without a doubt, I believe at first I was going to be 50-50 on it. I was still rooting for Kyle, but without a doubt, Simone. Simone. I was rooting for Simone, but without a doubt, he's going to win. The fact, while they have similar powers and all, I believe that Simone has big counters, not only while they have similar speeds and all, not only is his willpower stronger, but has abilities like absorbing and can manipulate reality, but can absorb and like cancel out like anything Kyle can do, especially with imagination. even if the source warp was added, was given to Kyle, wouldn't matter since Simon absorbed the multiverse of labyrinth and like killed the anti-spile, drilled through himself. So can't wait for the episode. Let's get this done.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
Oh, DS game.
It's time for a death battle!
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Let's do this. Oh, starting right away.
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Nice.
Hey, dude. Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech.
Yep.
Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Yep. So just like a repeat of Ben Fizz's. Oh, nice. Ooh, nice.
Tell me about it. Four.
Okay, that's funny. Oh, they're in space already.
That's nothing.
Yeah, this is hand drawn. Nice. Okay, this is good. This is all hand drawn, so this is good. Oh, they're getting serious. There's the mech. Oh, is that Superman? That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yes, it is.
I'm a lantern. We do the impossible. See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
Now you know.
Nice. This is good. With the fight. Oh, okay, that's cool.
I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down.
Nice. Oh, anti-life? Oh, there we go, final moves.
Fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life. Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
Yep. There we go.
Super Tekken Super Gurren Lagann!
Oh, so good.
Drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Break!
Oh, so good. Yes. Come on, final showdown. Oh man, what a manly fight. Okay. This is good. Ooh. Are they gonna go fist to fist? Yes! They're gonna go fist to fist.
Wasn't your mech. It was me.
Ben, Simone, I'm taking you in.
This is good.
His blackest night.
No evil shall escape my sight. Let
Oh.
those who worship evil's might beware my power.
Awesome.
Lantern fly!
Yes! This is good. Oh! Oh, yeah.
Break those teeth!
Awesome.
You'd make a good lantern.
Awesome.
You have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Okay, that's still awesome. That was awesome.
Oh, the guy with the snazzy sunglasses. When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's
Yep.
hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and
Yep.
Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself. When you control space and time, things
Yeah.
like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant. Instead,
True.
let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower,
Yep.
and their ultimate potential. First up,
It makes sense.
imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything.
I do agree with the speed and power just being thrown out the table because no matter what, they just their realities and can affect outside of it. So that does make sense. Focusing on their endurance and all.
Simone did have a few attacks
Oh.
that Kyle hasn't.
Kyle struggled to erase Annihilation, who disabled the natural laws of a universe after long enough time. And in comparison, the Anti-Spiral had complete control over the law of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet could not erase Nina from existence. So those facts matter.
Like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other
that's true.
factor for both characters,
Both are
the
creative.
origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here.
Yep.
Since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a...
I think Simone just did it. The fact is going to win this because the fact that he's able to like go beyond dimensional tier as well as affect come to our world, it's just a bigger factor. Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment. Oh, so it's mentioning the source wall. Yep, in a similar multiverse route. Several DC characters with similar abilities, Batman, Superman, Barry Allen, have escaped the source wall in the past. That's true. And not only that, he can pierce it and absorb it, so it didn't matter.
But we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
Yep.
Remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses
That's
the
true.
one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base.
Really? Both series could potentially have large scopes to cosmologies, but bigger intersect would favor the being big.
However, that doesn't necessarily
That's
mean
true.
Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole team.
Oh, so that's new. So basically, they skipped the imagination, willpower on potential. Okay, that's actually smart to see who will win the other.
Spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle. Especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level.
True.
Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill.
Yeah, so healing was a big factor. That makes sense. Anti-Spiral has regeneration compared to Spiral power users, but Simone overcame them. He can do the same against Kyle's healing. Oh, so he can counter them, including those that work on a non-culpable. But that makes sense.
It was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
True.
Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did, while Blue Lantern...
That's true. He had better endurance. That's actually a factor. He can outlast the Lantern. That's actually a good key thing.
Kyle's power. He's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate...
Kyle could maintain charge by fueling his ring with energy of hope and life. However, as a White Lantern, his rings have been overtaxed and nullified. Yep, just as against Dr. Manhattan. So that's a good point. He can be overpowered, and he can not overpower. He can overdo it, and be cancelled out. So that's a big factor. I was right about that.
Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it.
True.
It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to...
That's a good fact. He couldn't not control it. Kyle kept the life location in the what if scenario, New Guardian future, and if he is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. The canon Kyle saw this potential future, hence why he rearranged the equation. The book also established those with higher willpower are resilient to the life equation effect, such as Sarah. So no matter what, Simon just potential abilities and willpower were just enough.
Keep from destroying reality
Superior.
and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself,
Yep.
writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and
Yep.
using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
Turn fiction reality and absorb the multiverse labyrinth.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level
Yep.
of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway?
Yep.
That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So
Here's
Simone's
the
incredible
labyrinth.
potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself.
Yep. Okay, Simon greater rate of adaptation. That's true. He can adapt. Superior regeneration. So yeah, healing is a big factor in death battle that changes the fight. Resets the emotional spectrum. Weaker intensity. So Kyle was stronger. Okay, that's makes sense. At base, more creative is wing. Countered each other's abilities a lot. Far weaker and limited battery charge. So yeah.
But Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter
That was still a
this
great fight.
lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to
It was
death battle
awesome.
losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
That's cool. Overall, great fight. Hand-drawn masterpiece and all. Definitely was worth the wait and all. I do wish that the song was Will of the Drill, but the other one was still pretty good. Spectrum of Emotions, I think.
Next time
Alright,
on
come on.
Death Battle.
Yeah, Tom versus Kyle. We're finally getting it. Yes. Cannot wait. All hand-drawn.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle.
For those who don't know, before Rooster Teeth shut down, this was the winner of the Death Battle Tournament of Champions, basically voted by users to see which one. This one actually defeated Kratos versus Astra. That's how excited this matchup is, and all gonna be hand drawn by Jedelice Coos, I believe, who did Scooby-Doo versus Courage, which another banger. So I'm excited for this one. So
Thanks for watching.
yeah, overall awesome. Basically a great episode overall. I wish the camera would hopefully we'll probably watch that apparently as well, and then maybe in July when I get back we can go back to doing recording with microphone and all. But give me your thoughts of how this fight was and critiques of my recording and all. Hope to get better. I'll definitely try to get better. Maybe clean the iPad up more so that way you can get better rendering and all. But thank you again. Hope you see you all in the future. Stay awesome.